What's good, guys? It's Ilsun 4K, and you know why I'm here. I'm here to talk about It. Well, not It, Pennywise the Clown It, but the other clown, Art the Clown It. Yes, it's finally here today after what feels like an eternity of waiting, even though it was really like a little bit less than 2 years. Terrifier 3 is out. I just came back from the theater from seeing it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. This is going to be a spoiler-free review for the most part. If there is going to be a spoiler, I'll make sure to mention it beforehand. But this should be a spoiler-free review. First and foremost, it was totally worth the hype. Out the gate, it is absolutely an awesome film. It absolutely pushed the genre of this whole extreme modern Grindhouse thing to a whole new level. The art form itself, no pun intended, Art the Clown, Terrifier, all the characters have grown and become their own thing and become individualized, and we're now familiar with them to the point where there's a consistency, and the film absolutely keeps the consistency of the lore alive. And so one thing I'm definitely going to drive home here is that the lore of Art the Clown has been 100% furthered. It's been respected. The writing for all this clearly has the idea of making this character have a deeper than surface level affair going on, along with the new character that we saw, the witch lady with the deformed face. Again, no spoilers, but she has something to do with this film in a bit of a larger role, and the way they work that into this is really well done. There's nothing about it that makes it feels like it was like ham-fisted or tacked on. It's just the whole evolution of the story, which is really what everybody was wondering about with this film. We could all imagine the gore, and I'll talk about the gore going onward. But the thing that everybody wanted to know is, can you really make it happen twice? Was Terrifier 2 lightning in a bottle, or was it the furthering of a series? And anyone who's actually followed Terrifier from the beginning knows that's not even a question, but that's what the general audience is wondering. That isn't so well versed in Art the Clown, and everything about this is just perfectly well done. I don't feel like we were left with anything that had like plot holes or like that didn't make any sense. The whole movie is consistently done, and it really keeps in tone with Damien's ability to just make everything uncomfortable. Damien Leones is the master of making his entire film, even when a girl is just out shopping with her niece or trying to have a family dinner, be uncomfortable. Even when there's nothing crazy going on in the movie scene or anything like that, there's nothing like wild, no Art the Clown, no murder, no gore. It's just always this air of uncomfortable. When Sienna calls to talk to someone and she needs someone to talk to because she's very mentally traumatized, as you can imagine, from what happened with Art, and she has these moments of kind of having breakdowns, kind of like Laurie Strode from the Halloween series that came out a couple years back. Very traumatized, and it's very important that they play on that Sienna and her brother are very traumatized from everything. Because you gotta remember, Sienna lost her mom, and you know, people deal with trauma in their own ways, and we see both characters deal with the trauma in their own ways and their own reservations, and we see the strengths and weaknesses of how they're dealing with it. And they're both on medication. They've both been to psychiatric evaluations. Sienna has had it worse than her brother, but again, it's just all important that they're pushing the lore forward. They're pushing the storyline forward. They're pushing everything forward to let us know, hey, this is something that's serious and it's really cool. We don't really get a whole lot on the origin of Art the Clown. We get some cool backstories on that a little bit. We see Sienna's dad and how that all ties into everything, as you can expect. Again, these are all things that we were looking forward to. And we kind of get small glimpses into that. And that's really cool because that's what's going to set up the fourth film, because this definitely ends on a cliffhanger. But again, just as far as what it was supposed to be, to get that part of the review out of the way, it was everything it was supposed to be and something else. Entirely one-upped the franchise and really helped its growth. That might not be for everybody, but we have scenes where we get to really see like the personability of Art the Clown. We see Art in his lair rather often with the, you know, other individuals that are involved, and it's rather fascinating to see this personalization of Art the Clown, because, you know, he's a dynamic character even when he's just killing people, so you don't need him to have a really crazy backstory. He's just so fun to watch that you don't need to think about it. But they're starting to give him a bit more of a story, no pun intended. They're starting to flesh him out, and we're starting to understand things, and we're starting to see how all this is connected, but not enough to make us be like, all right, I know what the fourth film's going to be about. The same way that the second film ended, and you're like, what's the third film going to be about? You kind of have an idea of what the fourth is going to be about, but that's really something that's just, again, up to speculation. I think I have my own reservations about it, and maybe I'll make a video about it, but I highly doubt it, because, again, I just want people to go see this film. This film was absolutely awesome. let's get into what we all want to know about. The gore. How was the gore? The gore was just like the movie itself. Everything it was supposed to be and more. The gore is so intense in this film that I know it's really hard to imagine how they could have outdone the second film, and they just barely outdid it, but they did it in a style. The style of the gore is completely revamped and pushed to a new level of just personability and the trademark things we see in Art the Clown and his killing style and just the brutalization of things. The SFX are fantastic. Shout out to Josh Petrino, because I know he does a lot of the virtual effects, because there's definitely virtual effects in here, and he's a nice guy, so I got to shout him out in this video. But shout out to the whole virtual effects team as well. They absolutely murdered it, and that's saying a lot, because Damien actually handed the reins of being the SFX guy down so he could focus more on directing, and that team absolutely stood and delivered and completely understood the assignment and had to follow through with the continuity that's new but still familiar and what we're all looking for. It's still absolutely unadulterated, fucking wild ass gore. I mean, just blood everywhere. It was just perfect. And the storylines, the characters, the new characters we meet are awesome. They don't, of course, live for very long. They don't need to. But watching Art dispatch of these people is like nothing we've ever seen before. We've seen Art do some messed up stuff. And I want to say, I don't know if anything will ever actually top the bedroom scene, but I can say without a doubt, this definitely is a close thing. And the style of it, like I said, is just way more intense. And it's just more of everything. The shower scene, the everything scene. There's just a lot of stuff. And the fact that we got to talk about the fact that this is like the first time Terrifier is in a Halloween film, and they actually do a pretty good job when you think about it, because Halloween for Terrifier is just a background. It's not really an emphasis on the lore of it like it is for, say, your Michael Myers, or what Friday the 13th is to Jason Voorhees. This is something that apparently, for whatever reason, Art can now exist outside of Halloween. Who knows why? We'll find out why soon enough. Maybe this was a one-off deal and Terrifier 4 will go back to Halloween. Who knows? But it's interesting again to see how they took something that's so familiar and changed it up, but made it from something that was so familiar, changed it up and made it fresh, but still kept it familiar and just kept it in the continuity of everything. And it's really a consistent series that I see big things for. And Damien Leone and his whole crew, David and everybody, just knocked it out the park. And I said before, I know a lot of people who work behind the scenes on these films for Fuzz on the Lens, and congratulations to all of you guys. I mean, you absolutely knocked it out the park. Every single one of you, I'm so proud and happy for you, and it's so cool to say that I know you, even though I won't drop names. It's just very cool. And again, congratulations to everybody involved with this film. You are an indie horror legends all the way around the board, and we love you and everything you do for the indie horror scene. Again, guys, the Terrifier crew really absolutely knocked it out the park. And that's really my review of Terrifier 3. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and definitely make sure you go watch Terrifier 3. And maybe during December, I'll give one of my more full-length, in-depth reviews. But until then, just remember one thing. You're watching ILL TV, where if it's pop culture, you know it pops up here.